Okay, you may remember from the last video that whenever when we were out in the snow and it was reasonably cold, whenever the furnace came on, before it came on, the air conditioner, which is above here, would click quite loudly for several seconds and then click for several seconds while the furnace had started to run. It probably doesn't hurt anything, but it was kind of annoying, particularly if you're lying there. It was really loud. So Roadtrek sent me a slightly different manual that shows me how to reinitialize the Dometic thermostat. So I'm going to do that right now, and then try and set also the temperature differential, which is when the furnace will come on or not. So you can either have it at 1 degree, which means if you have your thermostat set at 20, it'll come on at 19, or you can set it to 2 degrees, which is 18. I'm going to try that because having looked online, it looks like that might actually help resolve the problem. So here we go. So first thing, we're going to push the up arrow, or plus if you're using an older Dometic. It has to be an off. So I hold that in, and then I have to press the mode button for 3 seconds until that double line comes up that hopefully you can see. So the next step is going to be setting the temperature differential. Then I just have to press the on-off mode button to get rid of that. There we go. So to set the differential, I'm going to press the minus button or the down button. Then I'm going to hold this in for 3 seconds. Then I'm going to toggle with this and do absolutely nothing.
No, I think it's the plus button. No?
Neither button seems to do it. Alright, so we start with the minus button, and the mode button for 3 seconds. There we go. It's currently at D2. D1. I think I'm going to leave it at D2, which is where it was. Okay, so I'm not sure that's going to make any difference at all, but we did try. So we did 2 things. We reinitialized the system on the first bit, and the second bit we reset the temperature differential, so that should come on when there's 2 degrees difference between the temperature that's set and the temperature in the coach. And we'll try it and see if the clicking noise occurs. So setting it to furnace and up to the air conditioning to listen.
So it clicked once.
Yeah. Okay, so we followed the instructions for the Dometic furnace that Roadtrek sent me. It's just I think it's an older manual, so we had to kind of adapt it. It says plus and minus, whereas the new Dometic thermostat says up arrow and down arrow, but everything seemed to work. Furnace is working, you can hear it, and it is producing warm air, which was a concern of ours, that maybe we'd muck around and not get any warm air. And we didn't hear any series of clicks. We just heard one click in the air conditioner, like a little click, and then the furnace came on. So hopefully it's fixed the clicking, but it also may have been something that was just happening when we were in fairly cold weather, and we won't get a chance to test that until next time we're in cold weather.
Anmore, BC. We're going to be doing the Diez Vista Trail at the Bunsen Lake Recreational Area, and Anmore is probably about a 40-minute drive from downtown Vancouver. I want to encourage everybody to get out onto the trails and in the woods. It's so rejuvenating. It's such a great way to get some exercise and get rid of your cares and the stresses of everyday life. Halvor London built a lot of these trails in this area. And Gordon, I think you know a little bit more about him, right?
We went up Mount Capilano, which is a little ways out of Vancouver. So Halvor's 83. There's about, a dozen of us who are very fit hikers that do 20, 30K trips without any worries. And we're having a hard time staying up with Halvor. We're doing some trail clearing. So Halvor was actually packing a chainsaw. I was carrying the gasoline. We hiked up about 10K up Capilano and did trail clearing all day. About 4:30 in the afternoon, we'd been up there since about 8 in the morning. We started to head back, and then Halvor looks at us and said, the original trailhead isn't in good shape. We should fix that too. So he looks at all the other people, and they're kind of a little grumbly looking, and he said, "What? I don't understand this." He said, "It's only 4:30 in the day. You guys are in your 40s, and we can still work on this trailhead." So he was quite an inspirational guy. He's done a lot of the trails around the whole Bunsen Lake area where we're at right now. Some of the trails are named after him. He basically named, I think, all of the vistas and peaks. And he would do this when he was retired. He would go out in the morning and he would hike, do trail clearing all through the mountains. His only issue was his wife insisted that he be home by dark. So he was always a little bit hesitant around that in the fall because it gets dark at about 4:30, so he really didn't get in a good day's work. But in the summer, he was able to stay out till 9, 10 o'clock. And that was right up until he was probably in his late 80s. And then I think in his early 90s, he unfortunately got prostate cancer and passed away reasonably quickly. But a great guy and a wonderful inspiration.
So Gordon's trying to help clear the windfall debris off of the trail. The plan for next week is that we are going to book a full-service campground and attempt dewinterizing. So that should be interesting.